Ever
Say
since
I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.
Here we are. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, wherever you are. I am joined by Shaun George. It's an absolute pleasure to have you back. I know I saw you briefly yesterday, but you were in demand. You were all over the place. And like I've just said to you off camera, are you reversing in age? What are you doing, Shaun? Send me the skincare.
man, I wish 45 getting old. It is
No.
what it is, But yeah, it's happy to be back here with you on your show. What's going on? What's new?
You you tell me. Welcome back to the UK.
Thank you.
Obviously, we've got Zhang versus Ajit Kabayel. Now, Shaun, that's not the fight I thought I was going to see. I
Hmm.
thought I was going to see Martin Bakoli. I'm happy with Ajit Kabayel. Don't get me wrong. I like that fight.
Hmm.
But things are never quite what they seem. And why was Ajit Kabayel the best fight for you? Well, for
That's a
Zilly.
that's the fight that was offered. There was never any offer with Zhilei to fight Martin Bakoli. There was never any offer. So they was going through it over the internet. Bakoli said what he had to say. And and Zhilei
As it
said what he
does.
had to say. Yeah, as he does, he talks a lot. We all know that. But and then his coach started talking and everything else, but there was never any offer.
Okay.
So we was getting ready for the Joseph Parker fight, which we thought that Joseph Parker was supposed to be
Yes.
happening. That's
The
that was that
rematch.
that's the yeah that was a talk that was a talk about everything. Delay versus Parker. Then Anthony Joshua fell out. Parker took an opportunity, which we understand is the opportunity. And rumors has it that Bukori was overpricing himself. It's a rumor. Maybe it could be true, maybe not. He outpriced himself. So they offer us a contract to fight Ajak Kabayel. So that's how the fight was made. But all this talk about running, doesn't duck anybody. Like if you put somebody in front, he's going to fight them. We showed you that with Herkovich. We showed you that with Joe Joyce. Joseph Parker, Deontay Wilder. We fight. We want to fight the best fighters out available to us.
Yeah, and yeah, I never ever thought. Well, I've never thought of Zilly of somebody that avoids people anyway.
Yeah.
If anything, potentially it could be the other way around because since you guys have signed up with Riyadh season, this is where he's getting his activity. This is where we're starting to see more of him. This is where he's almost turned into a star overnight. Even today, I was watching a clip courtesy of Queensbury Promotion where
Mhm.
he's sending his message to Ajit Kabayel saying about
Oh,
obviously I'm going to
no
bang you, and
Diddy,
then no Diddy,
no
and I'm
Diddy.
like,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's like he's
yeah.
warmed. Like all of us, we're watching him because we know that he's got these one liners that come with the translation of the slight language barrier he's got. But then
Mhm.
we're laughing, we love it. He's
Yeah.
entertaining.
He's entertaining. He's a fun, lovable guy. This is a sport of boxing. It's a gentleman sport. So, but when we compete, we have to destroy. We seek and destroy. What was that? When I
Yeah,
said gentleman sport, but but
yeah.
we're here to compete, and we got whoever's in front of us, we have to seek and destroy. That's what we're here to do. That's our game. But outside the ring, we're gentlemen. Why can't you say hello, or why can't you have a conversation with someone?
Mm, definitely. What's he done with his diet? I've got to ask because he looks so trim. Last time when he got on his scales, I remember I was saying to you, he's absolutely huge. What is going on here? But then
Yeah,
I saw him at the press conference, and he just looks so trim.
yeah. He's been working out. We've been in the lab working out. He has a great conditioning coach, Scooter, that he's been working with. They've been putting the work in. He's been running the miles. He's been lifting the weights. He's been doing the strength and conditioning. We've been doing the boxing. And we've been doing the sparring. So he's taking this fight serious. He wants to win. We won our world title fight. We've been trying to get this since 2022 for Herkovich, and we didn't get that fight. get the win to that. Then we beat Joe Joyce, and became the interim WBO champion, expecting to fight Usyk, or Tyson Fury, or it keeps going,
The
but
momentum.
the momentum is going, but right now we fight for the WBC interim title. It's a great belt. Um, and we're ready. Like we're not underestimating Ajay Kabayel. Right now, it's not about anybody else but Ajay. And we're concerned. We understand he's a young fighter. We understand that he's undefeated. We understand that he has good fundamentals. We understand that he has good body attack. We understand everything that you're saying. We actually do understand all of this about Ajay Kabayel, but we're focused on what we're doing. We're focused on dotting our I's and crossing our T's.
Does Zilly feel like he's got something to prove because of the last fight? Because I get it didn't end the way that he wanted it to end, especially.
Hey, no, 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 no. Last fight
Okay.
ended great. That's Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, sorry. Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
God.
know. Yeah, see,
This is what I'm
yeah,
saying. Look how active he's been. I'm there
yeah,
skipping fights. The fight
yeah,
that he had with Joseph
yes.
didn't necessarily end the way that he wanted it to end. Does he feel like with grabbing this momentum, he's got something to prove? This is what I'm saying. Zhilei Zhang was one of these fighters that was sort of like there, but on the shelf.
Hmm.
And now I'm going back to the Joseph Parker fight. And obviously, Deontay
Yeah,
Wilder, where he spun him around the ring. How could
yeah.
I even forget that? The fight
That
that
was a great.
potentially retired him,
Yeah,
potentially,
I
but
heard.
it didn't.
No, I think he's coming back. He's
I
fighting
heard.
Curtis Harper. I heard. Yeah. So he needs something soft. I get it. I'm not calling her Curtis Harper soft. Apologize for that. I'm just saying that he needs to get back in there. He's fighting. We'll see what happens with that. But you know,
Ajit,
w-
then, I said, like you said, you prepared for everything that he's got. An undefeated fighter. He'll have that momentum, that ambition, that drive, that
mhm.
thought process of I haven't lost yet. I don't intend to lose again. What do you see? Can that be a weakness for a fighter? I guess is what I'm saying, Shaun. When you have that, I'm not saying you're living in a cloud because you've done the work, you've got there, you are undefeated.
Mhm.
But can that be a hindrance sometimes too?
Ajit Kabayel to me comes off as a very focused man.
Yeah,
A very driven. He's very he wants to win, and you know that he works hard.
yeah,
Um, we are not underestimating him. The lesson learned with Parker is with Zhilei is stop underestimating people. Don't think everybody's going to go with one punch. Don't think just your presence alone in the ring is going to make people
okay,
afraid when it comes down to it. Um, Zhilei is since the Parker fight has been a total savage. You know, lesson learned. You see him when he knocked him down, he was celebrating, he was dancing. Like, wait, the fight's not over yet.
right,
So when it comes down to it, so you got to finish the job. And so we're not taking Kabayel likely. Every fighter in the heavyweight division is dangerous. Every single fighter wears the 10-ounce gloves. That makes them dangerous. And these guys are coming in big. These guys coming in heavy. No diddy. But that's what it comes down to. Mm,
that poor man, he's going to burn in
mm,
hell. But that's another subject.
yeah.
I've got to go to the chat because I've got to, shout out the subscribers, the ones that are here. We've got Star Fox saying, let's go, Red. Boxing's best instigator. I wouldn't say instigator, I'd say facilitator for conversations that other people run with and don't give me the credit for. I'd say more that. I basically saying that I'm going to be in all the Twitter mentions again. Who knows? You man are done for. Thank you very much for the super chat. Very, very much appreciated. And thanks for being here as well. So, Raymond, good evening to you. Please, any questions that you want to put in the chat, feel free. This is why we do the live, because we like to keep it interactive. And after that, I'm going to fire off with the first one. Does Shaun know what Wilder was complaining about before he spun around? That's a very good point. And I'm glad you're here, Iffy, because I forgot about that fight. That's insane.
I'm not sure what he was complaining about actually. Maybe I don't want to speculate. I don't know what he was complaining about. It just seemed like he got hit with a good shot and he didn't know where the shot came from.
Right.
It's kind of thing, but I don't know. You have to ask him.
the one thing that I like about what you've done there, Shaun, is you said, about Zhilei believing in his own power, like you said, that like cheering, dancing before the fight's over. Now that can be a scary moment because obviously you get caught off guard. I don't know, you get more out of breath, whatever it is. And then the other fighter then sees that as an opportunity because they're focused to come
Hmm.
back in the fight and hence the results. You said he learned from it. What kind of punishment would you give yourself as a fighter? You know this because you're a former fighter, having to deal with something like that psychologically. Like, Deontay Wilder did it with Tyson Fury. We've seen it
Hmm.
before. It's not
Yeah.
this is not a new thing. We've seen it, and then they get
Hmm.
up off the floor and went on to win the fight.
Yeah. I've been, damn, I've been physically active in the sport of boxing for 33 years.
33.
And it's just long. I've been around. So I've seen a lot. And the biggest thing a fighter, the worst thing a fighter can do
Yeah.
is lose concentration, lose focus. Um, it only takes one punch at any
Mm.
given time, any given round, any given second. It could be, we've seen Shane Mosley knock out was it Mayorga or Carter
Okay.
Mayorga in the last few seconds of the fight when it
Okay.
comes down to it. You see a lot of different fighters, like it could happen to anybody. You see a fighter going 8 seconds and get knocked out. They don't know what hit them. You can have those mental lapses, and that's the biggest thing. So they understand that, and we want that Parker fight rematch, but we have to do it as a Kabayel. And
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. How do you? I know this sounds like a basic question, but I'm trying to get into think how like the fighters think. How do you get your fighter to try not to switch off? I hear professionals say this all the time. They switch off. What happens in their brains that they just get off the job for a minute and they drift off, and those split seconds can be so dangerous. Why do they do that? And then you as a trainer, how do you make sure your fighter doesn't do that?
show them the video. Show them how
Right.
ridiculous that was. We have a lot of
Okay.
footage of it. You have everybody talking about it.
Okay.
Everybody's second guessing. Everybody doing these things. Like Zhilei is very aware of what he did in that ring. He understood like what where he went wrong, um, how he let Parker off the hook. Um, so it's all we want to correct that, but that's later down the line.
Yep.
Right now, like I said, Azar Kabayel is a dangerous opponent. He did beat Makhmudov and he did beat Frank Sanchez. Um, both fights that people thought that he wasn't going to win. You know what I mean? So he's focused. I looked at him yesterday and I was like, yeah, this man is focused. He doesn't want to talk, which I don't understand that too. Like that's part of the sport. You got to
Yeah.
talk to the media. You have to have conversations. You got to tell them how you feel and how you want to do it. But a lot of fighters don't want to talk. They rather have their fists doing the talking. But he's focused, and we're not going to go into this fight thinking, okay, this is going to be an easy fight, and this is a 50, and this is all I gotta do is put my hands on him and knock him out.
Yeah. One of the things that we've, said about Zillian, you mentioned that he's got a new part of the team, which is strength and conditioning. One of the things we know about Zilly is that sometimes he can when he gets to the halfway point, the fans start getting worried because they
Hmm.
think, okay, he's probably going to gas out. He's going to start to get tired, etc., etc. I like to look at improvements with fighters. What have they done to improve? So when you talk about that strength and conditioning, are we expecting like I know he looks a lot slimmer, but are we expecting that gas tank to really hold out to like say, yeah, I can do a full 12 and I'm not going to be tired?
Yeah, that's the trick. We training for 12 rounds, and we putting rounds in. Yesterday we did 15 rounds, in the gym. But right before the
Press up.
presser, yeah, right before the presser. So we put in the work, right? We're doing what we need to do to get there. So he understands. Okay, this is going to go on. He understands his body in those rounds, and we just focus. I'm telling you, it just comes down to repetition and being in those late rounds. Being in the late rounds, understand how your body works, and come down to it. How you be able to how to think under those when you're tired or when you're slowing down. What you need to do what defensive schemes can I come up with? Um, what type of footwork? What are we doing? Like depends on what the situation is. We giving you. I'm giving him all the situations that could happen in these rounds at this point in time.
Because that will, well, obviously that will stand in good stead, because if you're drilling that now, he should be going in there thinking on his feet, one for a better word, and being able
Mhm.
to adapt. Should obviously his opponent adapt. I hear a lot about film study and I appreciate it and I understand it. But I also understand that fighters can be adaptable to each other, especially if they're thinking fighters. They've got that brain, they've got that IQ. They'll
Mhm.
be trying to suss each other out. I guess that will it start quick? There's all these questions that
It's
won't be
about
answered
it's
until
about
February
adjusting.
22nd.
It's
Okay.
wait, it's about adjusting and readjusting. You
Yeah.
know, that's the sport of boxing. Adjust and readjust and then adjust again. You know, because they're watching video, we're watching video. Um, I'm watching Zhilei's videos as well. Like, okay,
Okay.
because I know what they're watching, you know, so we know what they're going to do. But the thing is, they don't know what we're going to do. You know, the schemes and the game plan and Zhilei mindset is different this time around. So I'm looking forward to February 22nd. It's going to be a good outing, a good night.
Yeah, I can't complain about any fight on the card, Shaun. All of them are good fights. All of them are entertaining fights. I think I will put my hand up and say I believe this is like the best card ever. I'm struggling to pick a winner with a lot of the fights. But
Who are
we
you
talk about
thinking? What are you thinking about the main event? Who do you
the
think
main
wins?
events. I'm one of these that can put my hand up and say that, I'm a very strong supporter of Artur Beterbiev because of the whole style that he's got.
Hmm.
However, I did think they were going to give it to Bivol
Hmm.
because I just on the eye, and I don't score fights. I'm not a qualified judge. It just looked like Bivol had the more punch output. However, Beterbiev was more aggressive. There's different ways that you can look at the fight. This time round, I sincerely believe Beterbiev is going to want to get back to his KO streak.
Hmm.
You have to remember that Beterbiev was coming off, I think what was it, a meniscus tear? He was coming off an injury. Fair enough. He was repaired, but we've heard no injury talk. So it looks like it should be a really thorough camp. Not saying that the last one wasn't, but post injury, it's always a bit tentative. However, Bivol wants to set the record straight because he believes that he won. And I think he's probably going to try and stop Beterbiev himself. So I
I
don't
don't know if
know.
he, I don't know if he could stop him. Like,
Yeah.
it was a great fight. Honestly, for me, I was sitting on my couch watching that fight, and I was just like, "This is a good fight. It's a style matchup. It's a classic
Mm,
one, like Sugar Ray Leonard versus Marvin Hagler.
okay.
It's a class. It's a meaning like a boxer versus a
Yeah.
brawler. You
Yeah.
know, those fights are always the best type of fights when they both come to fight, when they both come to win. And both
Yeah.
of those men came to fight. Both of those men came to win. And I was just like, wow. So this time around, I did me personally, I thought that Bevo won the fight. He won
Okay.
the most round. He won the most rounds. But then Beterbiev, he came on hard and excuse me. No, did he? But
No,
he
yeah.
came on strong. He came on strong,
Yeah.
and he came on strong, and it was savage. And you could see the mental break that Bevo had in that round, which he never had, which I've never seen him break. That was the best. That was the most interesting part because I never seen anybody break Bevo. He's always
Yep.
focused for 3 minutes of every single round, and that's what I admire about him. But for the most part, and Beterbiev is like, nope. I gotta get this. You know what I mean? I'm looking for this knockout. He came hunting. So this time around, I'm just gonna enjoy the fight and
Yeah.
watch it, and just like as a boxing fan, because that's a boxing fan's fight. You know?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. They
Mhm.
are two classic fighters. I have I have the utmost respect for all of them, but those rounds I was watching it at home because I did like
Yeah.
a live stream for it,
Yeah. Mhm.
and those 3-minute rounds were like they were a minute and a half. The fight flew by. it was to in and throwing. The output from both of them was really
Yeah.
good. But like you said, I think Beterbiev started to plant his feet and go hunting, and like you could
Mhm.
almost see him like he had that defiance in his face where he was like, I don't think so, and started whacking him. A lot of people were saying the shots were going off the gloves. They weren't. He was going around the back of the guard, and we could
Mhm.
see obviously the bruising on Dmitry Bivol's face that he was getting touched.
Better be looked like a straight up muscle. I seen him yesterday in the gym, and it's just muscle. It's just like he's working hard. I'm just like this guy, you know. But at the same time, Bevo, like I said, like his mind is so strong.
Yes,
Like
he's
you can't teach
focused.
that. Like there's only certain fighters today that could focus for 3 minutes of every round and not break.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
Another fighter on the show, Shakur
Shakur.
Stevenson, is the same way.
Mm,
Like he's aware of what's going on around him at all times. So fighters like that, like I really do appreciate and I do understand. But then you have an other side to it where the fighters that I'm going to break you. I'm going to walk you down. I'm going to break you. You touching me now, but when you feel my bangs, when you feel that punches, you're going to sleep, kind of thing. So in this hunting season for those, it's going to be a great fight.
he's
I,
gonna be.
I yeah, I
But you're
think.
what you saying?
No, I was about to say. And then, what do you think about the co-main, co-feature, Dubois versus Parker?
Yeah, I find it quite interesting because I find those two heavyweights to be the most improved. And when I
Mhm.
talk about most improved, they've taken losses and they've learned from their losses and they've come back stronger. And they're both on a good run. They both
Mhm.
are. You've got the experience with Joe Parker, and you've got the hunger from Daniel Dubois. Daniel Dubois under Don Charles is phenomenal. He's changed his whole. I mean, Don Charles has literally almost like nurtured him and brought him out of his shell to be
Mhm.
a more confident fighter.
Yeah.
I will say that I don't think Don. Well, I think he's starting to now, but in the beginning, I don't think he got enough credit for that.
Mhm.
Um, but then you've got Joseph Parker, who's under the tutelage of Andy Lee, a former fighter, a great fighter. Um, and those two gel really well also. You're looking at fighters with magnificent relationships with their trainers, both understand the sport, and I don't know because they're both pack power. Daniel Dubois, aggressive, quick. It's almost like he doesn't see his opponent. It's like he's a seek and destroy type of fighter.
Mhm.
But as you know, Joseph is tough and he's also fast and he's also more come forward and aggressive. When he used to wait until you'd get him on the back foot into the corner and he showed heart because he'd fight out of a corner. But
Mhm.
now you get in a Joseph Parker that's just aggressive on the front foot. I don't know, Shaun. What do you think's going to happen? Because I don't know.
I
I
think
don't know.
it gonna come down to the tangibles. Yesterday, you would ask me, I would have said that Joe Parker was gonna win,
Okay.
right? 'Cause like I said, it's a 50-50 fight.
Yeah.
Today, I'm thinking Daniel Dubois.
Because
Because he Dubois comes off a little bit awkward. Like when I say awkward, like him jumping into the ring with Usyk last month, right? And talk about I want to fight you. It seems like he's not focused. It seems like he looking past Joseph Parker. It
okay.
seems like it
When he
seems
went to
like
Usyk.
when he went to Usyk, like you have a fight on the 22nd. Why are you stepping into the ring talking about I want to fight you next when it comes
Mm.
down to it? It seemed like somebody put him up to that too. When it
You
comes down to
reckon?
that kind of stuff. Yeah, maybe,
Mm.
just call him out, make some noise,
Make
get
some
people talking
noise.
about you,
Yeah.
but then, when I start looking at the videos of their fights and everything else, Daniel Dubois, he does something that I don't think he gets credit for. Everybody talks about his punching. Everybody talks about everyone talks about his punching abilities. Everybody talk about, oh, he's young. He came back and he came back from those two with the Joe Joyce fight and with the Usyk
Usyk.
fight.
Mhm.
Usyk, right? how he come back because they said you call him a quitter and everything else. But then
Hmm.
how he throws his punches, he punches with you, and then you think like he's wild. You think that he's wild when he's throwing these punches, like he's jumping in, but then he's not really doing that. He's setting you up. Like his head is off the line when he's throwing it. He's in the right position when he's throwing it, and he does a lot. This fight going to come down to the intangibles. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? Little things because Joe Parker is sneaky as well. But Don Charles is one of the best coaches out there right now. I appreciate them. I've
I
been
like that.
following, watching them. I've been watching them for years. I think they're doing a great job. Anthony also is a great coach as well and a great fighter,
Yeah.
former world champion. So um, it's just it comes down to the intangibles in this fight. It is a 50-50 fight.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
it's another fight that I look forward to watching. Um, Obviously, I want Zhilei to fight either one of those guys and win it when it comes down to it. So that's my invested interest, but it's going to be a good fight. I'm looking forward to see and listen to. I hope the cameras pay attention to the corners more. I want to hear.
Same.
I, yeah, I want to hear what Don is saying. I want to hear what
Me
Andy Lee
too.
is saying. It's just,
Thank
it's
you.
just, it's just, it's a great fight. It's a good fight. It's a good fight that I actually want to see. I think it's going to be action. I think Parker's going to use his feet, box around a little bit more, and Dubois wants to come forward,
Yes.
but Parker is not afraid to mix it up either. So and they're around the same size and build, so you see what happens.
Do you think Daniel's all right with like finding the angles and chat? I'm going to come back to you in a bit because I can see a couple of things in the chat. What about the angles, like really cutting the ring off, stuff like that? How do you find Daniel Dubois with that?
Daniel, um he's working behind that double jab. He has a
Yes,
great jab.
he'll push you back.
Um,
Yeah,
push you back. Cutting the ring off. Like I said, he throws punches awkwardly
with you.
because with you at the same time. So he's throwing punches, and it's just like, okay, ooh,
Okay.
okay, now that was lucky. I could catch him. I could catch him. See what happened in his last fight. I don't want to say names, but you see what happened in the last fight. Um, I could catch him, and then boom, fight's
Mm,
over and ended. He does that all the time. If you watch him throughout, that wasn't luck when it came down to it. From that first round to the ending, it wasn't luck. So it's just people always underestimate certain fighters because okay, he lost to Joe Joyce and he lost to
okay.
Usyk in the
Yeah.
way he did, and these guys have been putting their life in it. They have an amateur record. They've been coming up. They've been sparring. They've been doing all the putting the work in there. So I'm not one to disrespect a fighter because they take a loss. It's a learning lesson. It's Joseph Parker as well. It's another learning lesson. And that's why this makes it a great fight.
Daniel Dubois, I think when you look at the fight that he had with Anthony Joshua, he wasn't giving him time to reset. As soon as he was landing the punches, when you need that split second just to reset. He didn't allow him those valuable seconds that you could see in the fight. There was no resetting allowed. He was just literally that pressure was just continuously on him, and he discombobulated because it's like I just can't reset.
Mhm. Um, it was that resetting. Also, it was how am I going to say this without?
Just say it, Shaun.
I don't want to be that savage. Listen, it comes down
So,
to
Shaun doesn't want to be savage.
no, it just comes down to um, it comes down to habits. Like
Okay.
you had, and I'm not taking shots at anybody. I'm
No, no,
just
no.
pointing out there.
Yeah.
You had what's his name? Damn, Rob McCracken as a
Yes.
coach, great coach.
Yep.
I met him a few different times on the amateur team
Yeah.
when I was working with the Chinese national team.
Yeah.
Great coach. He teaches great fundamentals. I love what he's doing with his boxers. Um, and the chemistry, I felt like Joshua needed time to grow. He felt like after a few fights, they needed to separate it for whatever the reason it may be. Then he went to Derek James. Derek James, that was great, like a great compliment to what Robert Kraken was showing because they work off the fundamentals as well.
Right.
He never checked himself. Like with Derek James, he was like check like he throw a combination, throw pop, pop, pop. He always checked himself on his defense, always checking himself on his defense.
Okay.
No matter
Okay.
what he did, he's always checking himself, checking
Yeah.
himself. This fight, he just wasn't checking himself, and he got caught with the overhand right. He kept falling back. If you look at you can look at guy Ruiz, the first fight with
Yep.
Ruiz. You can
Yep.
look at, and then you go look at when he fought.
Klitschko.
Um, no, not even that. You Klitschko too, but you could look at Ruiz the first fight when he got stopped. Then you look at when he fought Jermaine Franklin, and what's the other guy, the tall guy, Robert
Otto.
Hellenius.
Oh, Hellenius. Yeah.
Robert
Sorry. Yeah.
Hellenius, right?
Yeah.
Before Robert Hellenius, and then you could see like how he went from here with his
Yeah.
chin out in the air to like here checking himself behind the
Right.
defense. So it's just small intangibles when it came down to, and he wasn't checking his defense when he fought
Checking his
Dubois the
defense.
second time, after his punches when it came down to it. So it's just little details that I noticed in between. Like the instruction that he was getting was fine, but he just didn't check his defense after it. He was working behind the fence, but he never checked his defense.
Working behind
And
the
that's
fence.
that's the difference.
No, it's interesting, and that's why I like speaking to trainers because you're a trained eye. I'm an
Mhm.
untrained eye, so it's nice to hear like what a trainer actually sees. Because no, I wouldn't have picked up on that at all.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. It's always like you're anticipating a potential counter. Something's going to come back, so make sure you're ready for that. And yeah, I didn't think of that at all. Let me get back to this chat. Ba-ba-da-ba. So if you've just joined us, good evening. I am joined by the one and only Shaun George, who is a coach for Zhilei Zhang, who goes up against Ajit Kabayel. We've seen red letters exchanged at press conferences. We've heard Zhilei Zhang talk about Noel Diddy. We're going over a plethora of fights because Shaun is a trainer and I love to pick his brains about stuff. So if you are watching this on Instagram Live, if you are commenting on there, unfortunately, I won't be able to see it. It's the YouTube that's the main stream. So let's have a look. Sorry, I missed this. Did Zhang feel robbed after the Parker fight, especially with the knockdowns? Sorry, I didn't see that, Iffy. That was ages ago.
Yeah. Yes.
Is a short
The
answer.
yes, the math don't add up. You know what I mean? It's two knockdowns. You telling me we didn't win another round after that? We only won 2 rounds, or 2 rounds we not. No, it didn't happen that way. Parker did come on strong, you know. But we won at least 4 rounds in that fight. And then you have the 2 points behind it. It wasn't a perfect fight. He was looking for one shot. It was an ugly fight for us. I hate the fight when it comes down to it, but I do think that Zhilei won the fight. But we want to correct something, so we look forward and fight Parker again. And that's when the Lord's like, damn, okay, this is where you made a mistake, and this is why you need to make it up. And we know how to do it. We was trying to do it again, but then different fights came. It's the nature of the sport. But yes.
There you go. I think I'll answer this one. Shaun has said that there was never an offer with Bacoli. The fight that was presented to them was Ajit, and that's the fight that they took. That's the answer to that one, Iffy. Dunfall's asking, do they have sports psychologists, or does Shaun have to do the psychological work as well? Good question.
Um, that's a great question. No, we don't have sports psychologists. Normally coaches, or somebody that your fighter is close to, that's always help you with those kind of things. Jalei's like my little big brother, so we talk. No, I'm not even
Yeah.
joking. We're close, He has a good team behind him. Tommy, Terry, Kurt. Um, it's just it's a mental sport. And that's a great question. So shout out to that question.
Yeah, that was from Don for one of our
Wonderful.
residential comedians. He's actually quite funny, actually. So that's a serious
Okay.
question from him
Yeah.
because he's
But
usually got a lot of funny things to say. Lovely guy,
yeah.
though.
Wonderful.
Jay Jones, Beterbiev won that fight and landed the bigger shots, always coming forward. Bivol just wanted to survive. Do not blame him. Hey, the thing is, Jay Jones, we have opinions just like you have, but what I will ask is that you keep the comments respectful, because I've seen a couple of your other comments and it looks like you're fishing for an argument. If you are, you're on the wrong channel. But thanks for your comment. It is appreciated. If he's saying that Bivol is getting stopped this time around, people are very confident. I think Beterbiev is definitely going for it, but we've got a comment there that says, Bivol's going to get stopped. Not long till we find out. Tony the Pugilist, good evening to you as well. Rusty K just said Shaun looks like Willie D.
Willie D.
I'm gonna have to Google him. Is he a rapper? Willie D. I'm gonna have to Google that. Warlock Boxing, good evening to you. Right, with youth on Kabayel's side, how does Shaun think Zhang's cardio, and I think we kind of covered a little bit of this, will help him stay in the fight if it goes the distance? I think we sort of touched on that, but it's a genuine question. So yeah.
Youth. Everybody's underestimating Zhilei. I get it, I understand it. But we've been working, like I said earlier, been working on the later rounds. We've been focused on the later rounds and making sure that earlier rounds is still active and focused and ready. So every fight that we come in is a different obstacle, because they learning and they trying to learn, they trying to adapt like we are trying to adapt.
Yeah.
So we're focused and we're ready, and today is up for the challenge. But one of the game plans is always the same. Every round we're looking for the knockout. So don't think that we're going to slow it up or pick it up. Every single round we looking for the knockout. We ain't playing all that. Oh, let's go to the scorecard because I don't trust judges. So
yeah, you've always said
when
that.
it comes down to it, yeah. So we just go about our business and what we need to do.
But can I ask then, in relation to obviously the last fight with, Fury, Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, the rematch, how did you score that fight? Because like I said, when fights are close, I tend to just step out of the room and let everyone argue about it. But how did you see that fight? Because I don't know.
I thought it was pretty easy to score. It was a good fight, but Usyk was catching him body shots, headshots. It was back in I gave Usyk the majority of the rounds. I wasn't shocked by the decision. I was wondering, don't get me, Tyson was the rounds, some of the rounds was competitive. I'm not saying it wasn't. Tyson Fury is a savage, a great champion, a great person. But I didn't think he did enough to win. I have it on my phone, but because I actually scored that. That's the last fight I actually scored.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that Usyk won the fight. It was easy to score for me. It wasn't difficult to score the rounds, honestly.
So would you say that the fight before, the first fight, was closer than this fight then?
Yes.
Wow.
But I also think that the first fight should have been stopped, and Usyk should have won by knockout. In that ninth round. Listen, that was Tyson Fury recovery is amazing, because I don't understand how he's hurt from little corner to corner getting hit with shots like that. You've seen it with Deontay Wilder as well.
Yeah.
You've seen it with Steve Cunningham. You see you see him go down, you see him hurt, and then you see him come back. And when it comes down to it, but the referee should have stopped the fight in the ninth round, honestly. And that should have been a TKO or KO. No, TKO, but it didn't go about it that way. So I don't.
What do you think?
My honest opinion.
And that's fine, because everyone, if we can have that discussion, I think sometimes people get emotional, but it's our opinion. Your opinion is going to be way more informed and educated than mine, because I'm just a fan. I'm learning. There's intricacies that you've told me about this evening that I hadn't looked at before, but I definitely will be looking at in the future. And one of the things that I really like what you said as well, because I'm a fan of the corners. I want to hear what the coach is saying to the fighters, how many times have I like screamed at like
Mm.
when I've been
Yeah.
watching, like, I don't care about what the commentators think about this, that, and the other.
Mhm.
Shut up, wire into the corner, because
Mhm.
these are the integral moments, especially when the fight's coming to an end and it's like, what's the coach going to say? How's he going to turn this fight around? And then you've got
Mhm.
people talking about other stuff. I think it's one of those options where you should be able to press on the app or the button, commentary or
Yeah.
corners, and you have that
Yeah.
choice moving forward.
That's a good
Feedback.
idea, actually. Yeah,
If anybody's
that's a
listening
great
to this,
idea.
please do it, because there's a lot of us that would prefer to listen to the corners and somebody yapping. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? A
Yeah,
good
talking
one
over it.
here.
Yeah.
Uh, right. If he's
Excuse
saying,
me.
yeah, Parker got gifted the decision for me, Zhang deserved the win. And Punk Pop Not Dead. I love that username. I love crazy
Mm.
usernames. He said,
Yeah.
"Can Shaun speak Chinese?"
一点点，我就问不好，明白吗？
Ni hao. That's what you're getting off me, mate.
Okay. Yeah. No,
Uh,
I speak a little
yeah.
bit of Chinese, enough to get around. I could get around the country if I have to. But it's a hard language. It's a really hard language to learn. And my English is bad. So, when it comes down to that kind of stuff, so yeah.
Oh, this is a good one. Oh, he's back in the mix. I like this question though. Ask him, does Zhang ever run long distance, hill sprints, sprinting in general? He fights like he doesn't do the road work. Good
He does,
question.
but yes, he does all of those. He does long road work, he does intervals, he does um chamber, what's it called? High altitude training. He does all these kind of things. For this training camp, it's everything. Is doing a great job with him. Um, so yes, he does. I know, I understand the situation, but you got to understand this situation too.
Mm,
People say that Zhilei is tired and he fades, but what
yeah.
about the other fighters that's fighting him? They're not fading. Parker, okay, he didn't fade. He was, actually he showed a lot of heart in that fight. Um, but everyone else, Herkovich, Joe Joyce, the like Deontay Wilder, like it's not easy to be in a ring with Gilly. It's different. I know what you see on the outside, but when you get
Yeah.
into the ring with Gilly, it's something totally different when you get in there. So I'm just like, I understand like people talking about Gilly conditioning, but those guys are not fresh when the fight is over as well. Herkovich couldn't stand up at the end of the 12th round, but he was walking back, breathing hard. His brother brought him back to the corner when it comes down to it. So it's not just Gilles getting tired, his opponent's getting tired too, because these guys are in grueling matches. These guys are
Mm,
big men. These guys are in competitive fights. The fights that everybody's seeing Gilles in is with top contenders. Respect that. That's like it's just saying like Gilles competing with some of the best fighters in the world, and I think that people not looking at that part. But I do understand what people are talking about. They don't think he run to do it, but he does run. He runs his miles. He does his the hill work. He run the lake run. He does hyperbolic training. He does a lot of different things.
okay.
So we'll see what happens.
I think the thing with us, and I'll speak like from a boxing fan's point of view, it's very easy for us to sit at home or whatever and critique something that we've not got to world
Mhm.
level at
Yeah,
boxing. Some of us don't even do boxing. Some of us have never even got in a ring, but we
I
have,
love boxer fans though.
yeah,
Like boxer
because
fans, different conversations you have.
yeah.
Like it's just I love it. I really do. It's just like I appreciate you guys when it comes out. Like I appreciate you guys. You're in my Instagram. We're talking. I'm not, you know what I mean? Go back and forth. I say thank you. I'm never disrespectful to any boxing fan. Your
Hmm.
opinion is your opinion. When it
Absolutely.
comes down to it.
Right. If Zhang wins against Kabayel, will he call out Anthony Joshua in the ring?
I don't know. Um, I don't think that me personally, I don't think that fight will ever happen. I don't think they have an interest in fighting us. Personally, that's what I think. Um, if Janae calls him out, then he calls him out. If he doesn't, I won't be surprised if he doesn't. Zhilei is a
Mm,
gentleman. You know what I mean?
mm.
He's respectful. Um, so yeah. So I'm not really like Anthony Joshua is a great guy, a great person. You met him before, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, so like when you're around him, like you feel like you one of his people. He's good. He's a good person. Like he's a good guy.
Mm.
So I understand that, but I just don't believe that they're interested in finding Zhilei at all. I think they're looking in the opposite direction.
Yeah. The future is looking bright. You know, the heavyweight division is looking tasty. He's with Frank Warren, as are the majority of the heavyweights. Frank is in his like element, promoting, putting the fights on. I mean, your experience with working with, I like to call him Big Frank. What's
Mhm.
your experience like having him in your corner?
Since he's the only promoter that we worked with that put it in the fights that we wanted.
Really?
Rock Nation, um, they would Matchroom, they just kept giving us a certain type of level of guys. Like when we got the Herkovich fight, that was by chance. The IBF went down a whole list
Yeah.
of people to get to Zhilei. And Zhilei, I think, was 14 at the time.
Okay.
You understand that was a long list, when it came down to it. Um, but like we wanted to fight contenders since the 2018, 2017. We wanted to fight the top contenders. We wasn't even calling out Anthony Joshua at that time. We were talking about just give us the top 10 contender, you know.
To move up
Um,
the rankings, yeah.
yeah, getting the rankings, get put to so people take us more serious. When it comes out, like Jalei's been professional since 2014. And people are now
11
hearing
years.
about Zhilei. They're now hearing about Zhilei later on in
Yes.
2022.
Yes.
So it's just like, and this comes down to people not believing in Zhilei. They thought that he was a gimmick. Um, and that was so frustrating to me because I'm like, you know who Luduva is? Do you? Um, Luduva is he basically signed in 1984 the entire Olympic team, U.S. Olympic team.
Right.
So he had Evander Holyfield, um, Cornell Whitaker, Mark Breland,
Mhm.
um, the guy from Philly, Metric Taylor, all these guys, and he signed them in the main events that came up along. Anyway, so Lou, when he was introducing me to Chile back in 2010, he was like, this guy could be heavyweight champion of the world. And years later he died, but he kept saying, but he's older. He was 94 years old,
Oh, okay.
right? Well, yes, he's much older. But he was like, this guy he could be world champion. He has a talent, he has a heart, he can fight, he has a lot of amateur experience. This guy right here could be world champion. So I want to see it work. Like Lou Duva, he has a great eye for talent and a great eye for talent. And you know, right now, the fight I want to see is Ajay Kabayel and Zhilei, because that's the only fight that matters right now.
Yeah.
This is the most important fight of
Yeah.
Zhilei's life. This fight coming up on February 22nd is all or nothing. So we know that people are trying to wait Zhilei out. They think that, um, oh, he's getting older, she's getting older. This is wait it out, whatever it comes down. So he loses reflexes, whatever. This is what they're hoping for. But Janae is getting better. He's in the lab. He's focused, and he's still learning. That's a great part about it. He's still making adjustments. He still is able. He's not. They say you can teach an old dog new tricks.
Mm, yeah.
Janae, Janae is learning new tricks, and comfortably and loving it and having fun in the gym. He's a student of the game, and that's the great part about working with him.
Yeah, I know you two are close. It's just when you say like he's your little big brother, I know because he's so
Yeah.
tall. He just
Yeah.
towers over absolutely everybody. I nearly snapped my neck back just looking up to
Yeah.
say hi. So it's
Oh,
funny when you say he's your
yeah.
little big
Big
brother.
brother.
He's
Yeah.
absolutely massive. Got another super chat here, which obviously takes priority. Thank you very much. £5 donation from Dunfor. He's got another good question. Dunfor, you need to just jump on the live. One more psychological question. Please ask Shaun how he would manage confidence fighters like Wilder and AJ, as they've taken losses terribly, and he's put due to cultural pressure. I like the undertone in that as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't want to step on toes. I love the question though, but
I hear it.
how you build confidence. Um, get him back in the gym. Um, let him when he's ready to watch what happened on videotape, you let
Ah,
them watch. You know, um, this is just one way you can do it. Other
yeah.
ways you can do it is get him back sparring again. Teaching this what you need to work on. Soften the sparring up. You build their confidence in the sparring. You build their confidence in a next fight. Like I think what Wilder's trying to do, they try to build his confidence up
Okay.
again. That's why they fighting. That's why he's fighting Curtis Harper. You
I
know,
understand.
they building him back. Okay, so it's not a big fight. Everybody go, no, it's a confidence builder. You know, he still has that one. He's still punching. You know, and I would like to see what him and Malik Scott does together, like and see the build up. You know, because the one fight I do want to see, honestly, right here in the UK, is Deontay Wilder versus Joe Joyce. I would love to see that fight. It's no, I've just never talked about. It's
No?
never anything else. But they both are in the same predicament, basically,
Okay.
almost. You know, they're struggling with their confidence. They try to get back on the scene, but can Joe stand up to? Can Joe stand up to Deontay right hand? Can Deontay handle the pressure of Joe Joyce? Like these are different things that
I don't
it's
know.
and they both big men. Well, not Wilder's not that big, but
But he's
he has
powerful.
it. He's powerful. You know, for me, I would love to see that fight. They both
Never
still
thought of
fighting,
that.
so let's put them together. And it should be here in the UK. Put added pressure on to Wilder. You know, is the fans would love to see it. They will enjoy it. Put it as a
Hmm.
you know, but
I never thought of that.
this is me thinking as a boxing fan. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. No, I hear it. I hear it. Like I said, it's good to see Wilder back, but us greedy belly fans, we're sort of we always, I don't know, we always want them to have come back into an even tougher fight. But like you said, the psychological side, you
yeah,
have to build your fighters back up. And it's interesting that you say that. So we'll have to wait and see what I'm going to do, because we've been going for nearly an hour now. And I know you got things to
yeah,
do. I know you're traveling
yeah,
back over tomorrow as well. I
yeah.
just want to say an absolutely massive thank you, Shaun, for your time.
Thank you for
Thanks for
having me
always
on.
replying to the DMs and saying,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do this. And,
Yes.
I'm a
I'm
great
sorry I missed
supporter.
your shows. I'm sorry I missed your show a few different times. You know, I want to
Ah,
be on
don't worry.
more.
It's the time zone. It's
Yeah,
gonna get techie. So,
yeah,
and thank you to all of the chat. Thank you to all of the questions, the super chats, all of it. You guys are great. But yeah, we're gonna close. But I'll try and speak to you fight week. I was trying to come out there, but I don't
yeah.
think it's gonna happen now. So
Why?
unfortunately,
Okay,
yeah, life,
okay.
life,
Yeah,
lives.
yeah, I get
I
it.
did want to come
Mm,
out there because that's a once in a lifetime card, but here
yeah,
we are. But look, I'm grateful to have your company this evening. So, Shaun, the chat, everyone, I will say au revoir until the next time.
hey, Red. Have a good one. Thanks for
And
listening,
you
guys.
take it easy, and all the best for Zhilei in his fight.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
People say I'm toxic, and honestly, I don't care.